There we go. All right. Stephan James. My name is Tim Gordon. I'm with thefilmgordon.com. Wanted to talk to you about your movie, man, which I had an opportunity to see yesterday. First and foremost, man, when you were approached with the opportunity to play Jesse Owens, how much did you know about him, and how long did it take you really to get up to speed about it with this story?
I mean, I knew very, very little about him, honestly. I heard the name Jesse Owens and it rung a bell, but I really hadn't understood what it is that, he had actually done. And, for me, reading the script and then researching his life, I was blown away. Blown away to learn some of the things I did. And I was also upset with myself for not knowing, about the great Jesse Owens. So, I definitely knew that I had to do my research for sure.
Now, in the film, of course, you're playing a gentleman who was a runner, was an athlete.
Yeah.
Did you have to get up to speed on the physical aspects of the role, or were you already kind of there, been working out and doing what you had to do?
I mean, I work out pretty regularly, but track and field is a whole different thing. I grew up on basketball and volleyball and things like that, but never track. So, I knew I had my work cut out for me, if I was going to play the fastest man alive. And, I knew that I didn't want to, have a bunch of doubles doing things for me. I wanted to actually do it myself. So, for me, the training started about 2 months beforehand, once I started, when I learned that I got the role. And I started training down at Georgia Tech with the track and field coaches there. And Coach Nate Page, I mean, it's been great, not only teaching me how to run fast, like a real sprinter, but how to run like Jesse, because his technique and his style was so particular.
Now, your most recent movie that people may remember you for, of course, you playing John Lewis in Selma, and now Race. So you're playing these larger than life historical figures. Talk about the difference between what the racial dynamic of what might have been in Selma, what Ava DuVernay brought to the table, and what you're getting in this film.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at two different times. Selma's the 1960s, right in the middle of the civil rights movement. Again, an opportunity for me to learn a lot about the civil rights movement that I had no clue about. But just as important, these stories really are just as important as one another. Race precedes Selma by about 30 years. So the time is a little bit different. But I certainly understood, some of the things when I was backtracking, and understood some of the things that happened, and how Jesse Owens, could have been a huge inspiration to guys like John Lewis and Dr. King. So they sort of go hand in hand, but in terms of storytelling, they're both as important. A little bit different, obviously working with different directors, telling a different sort of a story, but the same responsibility in telling stories about characters that are, like you said, larger than life. Such big heroes. So right away you gotta do your research on those times and what those people were like and are like, and for me, it's been incredible to have these stories land in my lap.
So when you talk about the responsibility, right? You're really young in the game, so you're one of the few under 25-year-old actors out here who actually people are starting to see and get work.
Right.
You got Michael B. Jordan, I think, is still in his 20s, so it's not and John Boyega, so it's not really a lot of you guys. As it relates to the sorts of roles that you are interested in the future, we've seen that you show up in these biopics and you're doing what you do. What if you had your druthers, right? What direction do you want to try to take your career with? Which types of roles, or which type of genres, or which type of directors would you like to work with?
I want to do it all, man. I want to do it all. To me, stories like Selma and Race, I wish I could say that, it's some brilliant scheme that I thought of, but it's really not. It's just a matter of coincidence and a matter of having these scripts land in my lap, and it's hard to say no to playing a John Lewis and working with Oprah and Ava. It's hard to say no to playing a Jesse Owens. You know what I mean? So for me, they've just been incredible opportunities to tell, such important stories that are so much bigger than black stories, so much bigger than American stories. They're really just world stories about world heroes, and for me, it's just, I've just sort of try to take advantage of those opportunities. But I want to do it all. I want to do sci-fi, action, thriller. You know, I'd love to play a superhero. I think that'd be cool. I don't want people to see me as one type of actor. I want to be versatile and tell many different types of stories.
So let me ask you a question. So as it relates to, because you're still young in your career, how many movies total have you done now? About like 5 or 6, something like that, or a little more?
Maybe it could be more. I've done a lot of like indie films, smaller films that nobody really knows about, but.
Well, you're in this fraternity now, right, as an actor, and we're in the middle of award season, right? So I'm not going to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, when you look around your landscape and you work with certain people and you know basically how the industry works as it relates to like it's like high school, man. It's like you're in high school and you know you got some kids who are in the popular kids, you got some kids like you might be in your freshman or sophomore year now, trying to get to your senior year. But as you kind of like watch how the industry evolves, man, how do you feel about the whole aspect of accolades? Because I realize it's a part of the business, right? So you're doing the work to be the best Stephan James you can be.
Yeah.
But along the way, people like me come along and go, hey, man, we thought you was tight.
Right.
We think you should win some. How do you feel about accolades?
Man, I think it's all funny to me a little bit because, you know, to me, I don't think anybody should make films for awards. You know what I mean? I can never imagine going into a film and thinking, you know, I have to win an Academy Award for this film, whether I'm an actor or director, anyone involved with it. You know, we should never start our storytelling from that place. You know, it's not authentic, it's not real. So for me, it's just been about being as true to Jesse as I can be in his story and bringing him justice. You know, it's not about all that stuff. Of course, awards and recognition, that's great when people recognize you, but we should never expect that, and we should never create from that place of wanting that sort of thing. But that being said, I think it's important that, you know, that they're having this sort of a discussion now. We're seeing a national dialogue about diversity in film and television in the Academy. I think it's important that, you know, we talk about it. There's obviously an issue there. But, you know, it's so much bigger than any one person's opinion. We got to look at it as a collective and find things that bring us together rather than things that separate us. But yeah, for me, I never have done anything for the awards. It's just all been about the work.
Well, and I agree with you. I think that's actually really true. So what do you have on your plate that's coming up? You're not going to you're not going to portray, you know, like another larger than life person, are you?
No, I don't think that's next. I think it'll be something different. It'll be something that people aren't used to seeing me in, and I'm excited. I'm excited to tell a bunch of different stories and keep fooling people and into believing that I'm different characters. You know, a lot of people don't even know. You know, they look at Jesse, they look at the posters and stuff. They don't know it's me. I like that. As an actor, I'd like to be separate from my characters that I play, and I like people to see me as different. You know, people look at that and they don't think that that's the same guy that played John Lewis, and I like that. You know. So for me, it's just about telling different stories and being that guy that's everywhere.
So do you have any aspirations to write or maybe step behind the camera and direct at some point?
Of course. I've always been writing and stuff like that. You know, I think that you know, it's a whole different world that I'm very, very interested in, especially directing. I'm the type of actor who, you know, if I have nothing going on set, I'll just hang out with the director, sit behind the monitor, and watch. I'm very, very interested in it from the other perspective. You know, right now I'm sort of just trying to, you know, keep this going and build on this. But I think eventually, you know, once I step back from the acting, yeah, for sure, do some directing and writing and stuff like that.
So, I always like to ask actors or people in the business these questions because you guys spend so much time working or preparing to work on roles. When you get an opportunity, is there anything that you watching, like anything that gets you excited?
I don't understand.
I'm talking about like movie-wise. Is there any movie like, you know, like, man, I know I'm not in it.
Oh, of course, man.
No, look, I gotta ask.
Of course, man. I get excited about films all the time. I get excited about films all the time, and actors. You know, it's still. I mean, even being an actor and understanding what the process is like and the whole thing. You know, to still be able to watch and appreciate films and get lost in characters, even when I know it's a character, and I know what the process is like behind, you know, creating these characters. It's still great to see, you know, to see films. You know, I'm excited about The Revenant that I saw last week. That was an incredible film. You know, so I love film. I'm a film guy, a film buff. I watch films all the time and very excited about a lot of stuff.
Now, one of the things that's always interesting to me is that, you know, when I track the arc of films that people of color are in, we see a lot of biopics, we see a lot of romantic comedies, we see straight comedies, but I'm not seeing a lot of sci-fi, which is why I thought we were so excited about John Boyega in The Force Awakens. Or we don't see a lot of, you know, like these nice little indies that are out there. If you had your druthers, man, like, you know, you had to, when you're looking at roles, like when you're getting scripts coming across your desk, what are the types of films that you don't want, or the types of roles that you don't want versus the types of roles that you do want?
I mean, I don't know if I have it that clearly defined yet.
Right.
But, you know, I wanna, you know, I just want to tell cool stories, man. I love to do sci-fi, action films, you know. I want to be a superhero. I want to play, you know, the first black Batman. I want to be the first black Spider-Man. I think that would be dope. Like, you know, I'm really trying to do it all. I'm not trying to just be that biopic guy, that history guy. You know, I'm really trying to do it all, to be honest.
So when you talk to your people, man, how you gonna get them to break you outside the box, man?
I've been saying it. I've been
but
saying
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Of course.
You know,
but I mean, it's all a matter of decision making, and I'm very careful with the types of roles I choose to take on. I've always been that way. I could accept everything, but I don't. You know, I'm very selective. It's not about money to me. It's not you know, it's always about the project. So, you know, I'll take my time and do what I think's right.
Now, it's interesting you would say that, because I've always had this theory that, you know, I've heard actors say that, you know, we do one role for the quality, and then like there's the vacation movie that I got to pay the bills money. Yeah. So, are you thinking about, or when you think about, do you try to balance out your work in that way?
I don't. You know, to me, it's really not about that. I don't just do things to do them. Honestly, if I don't like it and I'm not, you know, invested into it, then I don't see why I would do it. Why I should give it, you know, let them give it to somebody who actually cares about it.
All right, so as I know I asked you this earlier about what you have coming up. Do you have anything on the horizon, or are you still in the process of sifting through?
Yeah, I got a couple of things, but like I said, who knows what I'm gonna really do, what I'm gonna have time to do. But there's always things on the table and things that I'm discussing always. All
right, so brother, I'm gonna wrap it up here because Sexy Heels just walked in the door.
Giving you the wrap it up signal.
Yes, it is. All right, that'll work. Thank you, sir. So that wasn't painful, was it?
No, we good.
Yeah, man. I try to make it as simple as possible.
Involve me in your interviews.
Oh, I always try to do, especially when you walk in.
Interviews separate.